There's a hidden force in your space that could be working against you in 2025. And most people have no idea it's happening, but I do. And I'm making some major shifts to my office to align my space with the energy that's here in 2025. When what's happening out there in the world feels a little bit unstable, trust me, you want to be able to align yourself to the best energy possible. Now, for someone who has lived the Feng Shui way, not just as a believer, but also as an elite Feng Shui practitioner and teacher, of course, I believe that the energy around us shapes the way we create, focus, and even how money flows in. There's a flying star Feng Shui shift that happens every year that could either boost your success or completely drain your energy, opportunities, or finances. Now, before we dive in, here's something very important. Feng Shui isn't a one-size-fits-all system. What works for my office won't be a copy-paste formula for yours. But what I can show you is how I think about energy placement and how I teach my students to do the same. How I'm adapting my office for the energies of 2025, and how you can start thinking about making shifts in your own space too. So whether you're new to Feng Shui or a longtime believer, watching this hopefully will give you some insights on how real Feng Shui looks like and how it can help you align with the highest energy, vibration, frequency, and ease. So let's get to it. Okay, so this is the ground floor layout of my home, and my house is a period 8 house facing south 3. Now, what does that mean? That means for my home, my facing side of my home happens to be the front side, and that happens to be where my front door is. 95% of the time, that is where your facing is. However, I have seen 5% of the time that the facing could be the side of the house, and even, this is very, very rare, sometimes even the back of the house. But with that said, let's just concentrate on mine. So this side being the facing side of my house, I happen to have a front door here. So I'm going to take a compass reading right at the door. So when I put the compass in the center here, you are going to see, and I look straight out the door, right? You're going to see that it's showing me that my house is facing south 3. So it's about 197 degrees roughly, which is why when people say, Safrina, my house is facing south, I'm like, which south? There's south 1, south 2, south 3, which is all the way, which is 45 degrees. It encompasses 45 degrees of the compass, which, and depending on a chart that is south 1 house, that would have a different chart compared to a south 2 or a south 3 home. So now that I know I have a compass reading of my house, this is the permanent flying star chart of my home. Permanent flying star chart for a house or a building that has period 8 south 3 energy. And this is flying star chart in that, so all the numbers on the left are denoting energies for health and relationship. Okay, all the numbers on the left here. And all the numbers on the right will denote the energies for money. Okay, all the ones here. In my Grandmaster's lineage, which is the Grandmaster Tan Yang Wu, we do not do Feng Shui based on the natal numbers. So I'm just going to cross this out, making it really clear here. We do not do any Feng Shui based on these numbers here. Now, looking at my office, because my house is facing south, that makes my office the northeast room. And that would mean that my office, this whole office here, would have the energies of the Northeast. I would have the water star 9 here, which denotes auspicious money energy. And that's part of the reason why I chose this to be my office, because being the main breadwinner, I need my office to be in the strongest money energy possible, right? However, energy changes every year. It absolutely changes every year. And this year, we have the visiting energies of this flying star chart for 2025. So I have this as my permanent energy in the Northeast, yet now I have the number 5 visiting the Northeast. So this whole office here now has permanent energy 7, 9 plus annual energy 5. And in my flying star school, we look at the correlation between the visiting star, which is the number 5, with the permanent star. Unfortunately, that means not very good energy. And so this year for 2025, I have to reduce usage and reorganize, especially where my desk is concerned. So that means, what does it mean, reduce usage? Reduce usage means I'm going to have to work off of my laptop as much as possible and only use this for, only use my office for storage, for printing, and for doing my Zoom calls. Where offices are concerned, the work desk is the most important thing to place. So that's the main focus of my office reorganization here. I'm going to be moving the desk here, but I can't be facing north, because right now, if I sit this way, I will be facing north, right? North is on this side. I'm going to have myself facing east, okay? Because the east, even though permanent energy wise, I have a 2-5, which is again not the best. However, the 9 energy is auspicious. It's auspicious, especially for me. And the annual energy actually works faster than the permanent energy. So I'm going to focus on the permanent 9. I have another video that talks about the differences between the permanent energy, monthly energy, and the annual energy in terms of how the effects, how long they last, how strong they are, how dramatic they are, okay? So I'm going to be removing this chair, or at least just fixing the way I sit, okay? So this, I'm going to be facing east. This is part of the reason why I love L-shaped desks, because an L-shaped desk, it affords you so many, you can have the same desk and you just shift the way you use it every year. This desk allows me to look north, northeast, and east. So depending on the year, and even depending on the month, if you want to go that way, you can use the same desk and just move it around, or even just moving your desktop, right, your computer monitor, and you'll be facing the best direction as possible, depending on the year or the month. Okay, so this is the main, and obviously I have my my filing cabinet, my storage, my other plant stands that I'm going to be moving around. But the main thing is this one here. Like, look at the plants that I have in here. So these are, I've got orchids, so I'm a bit of an orchid fan, but because my husband's like, he says we can't have plants run amok in the house. So I do have some plants in my living room, but most of the plants are in the office. But I'll give you a quick peek. Like these orchids, this one's starting to bud up. This one is starting to bud up. These ones, they're not all in the healthiest state. Okay, the earlier video was, I think, around 10 o'clock. It's almost 1 now, and I haven't done much. I did kind of get rid of a lot of kind of dead plants, cleaned up some of my plants, moved a couple of things around just to kind of de-garbage the office. But I am 1 minute away from a client call with a VIP client of mine. We've been having healing coaching sessions for, I think, coming up to 2 years now. Every week I have a call with him. So I'm just gonna, after the call, I'm gonna go back to moving as much as I can where the office reorganization is concerned, and let's see where we go. So I think it's about 9 o'clock now. I'm gonna keep going because I really don't want to be doing this during the weekday when I'm supposed to be working. So I'm just gonna keep going. And this plant one here, which also has my file cabinet, that's gonna stay. This one's moving, switching places with my desk, and everything else is gonna move as well. So this one, which currently houses some of my succulents, but mostly my orchids, I'm gonna see if I can keep them as is, but there's a chance I might need to move it. We'll see. Okay, so we're now on day 2. The desk is now officially moved, and I've actually done some answering emails over here, just sussing out, making sure I have enough elbow room and everything. That's looking good. The plant stand has stayed, and I'm gonna put my crystal grids over here as before. This has moved, just some more storage here. And then this used to be a plant stand, so only this level is, I'm gonna still keep it for plants, but everything else will be for storage. Now, this part of the room behind me, if you put the 24 mountain compass over it, it has partially, like half of the north direction. And the north in 2025 has the number 7. This part where my desk is the northeast, and in 2025 it has the number 5. And when the room is, it's not a big room, but when it's one room like this, the northeast energy, based on my grandmaster's lineage, the northeast energy is more dominant. However, there is still a little bit of the north energy, the number 7 energy, kind of commingling, and I don't want that. Based on my year of birth, I am more negatively impacted by the number 7 than I am by the number 5. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to separate this part of the room, the storage bit of the room, with a room divider so that it locks up the north energy. And so my work area is going to be dominantly northeast. Again, the number 5 in Flying Star is not the best energy, but I still need to put my desktop somewhere. I still need to kind of have an HQ somewhere, but because my office is not in the best spot for 2025, I will be working with a laptop everywhere else in the house. But this will be my printer is here, my studio is here, so I still do need to do some work here. I'm gonna show you guys my favorite room divider. Okay, so let me show you the room divider that I'm gonna use. I love this one here. I'm gonna show you guys to the website, but this is from Umbra. I actually have 3 sets because I love it so much. It is floor to ceiling. It's a tension rod. Okay, so you don't have to like drill any holes or whatever. And so I've put one on that wall. The other wall goes, the other rod goes here, and I'm just gonna connect that together, with and then put a fabric there, and that's gonna be, that side is gonna be my northeast side. Okay, so I put up the curtain, and the whole time I did that, I thought I was recording it. I am not gonna take the curtain down just so I can redo it and have it on video. So you guys are seeing, ta-da, the finished product. So yeah, 2 tension rods with the curtain down. So this part over here, the curtain is locking up the north energy. And remember, if you've seen my previous video about manipulating the chi with room dividers, the room divider that you choose has to be solid, meaning if I blow smoke, this is really thick curtain over here. Okay, this is really thick curtain. It's actually a blackout curtain. So if you blow smoke over it, the smoke's not going to pass to the other side. That's one requirement. The second requirement, it has to go as much floor to ceiling as possible. Now this is an 8-foot ceiling, and I think that's maybe a foot off the ceiling. So it's about 7 feet of curtain height. And then I believe the width is about 8 feet wide as well. And this is almost going all the way covering. So it's from that side of the wall and almost to the other side of the wall there. So it needs to be at least whatever room dividers or furniture that you want to use to manipulate the chi. Again, the 3 requirements. 1, it actually has to contain the chi. If you blow smoke against it, the smoke cannot go to the other side. That's requirement number 1. Requirement number 2, it has to be as high as possible. Personally, for me, I like to see it minimum 6 feet high. Requirement number 3 is it needs to be at least half the width of the width. So if this one is 8 feet wide, then the room divider needs to span at least 4 feet. This is actually more like 7 feet now. Okay, so here's the final layout. It took me maybe a couple of weeks to really get it to where I was happy for it to be. So here you go. Here's the reveal, and I'll go through some of the finer details. So I needed it to be in blue because the north area, which is where this part is, has the angle number 7. So on this side, it's mostly storage. So I've got my bookcase here. I've got some storage boxes here, more storage. Over here is now, I've got one of my plant racks here, but really at the bottom it's still more storage, and I've got a printer and some packaging supplies. Sorry, my skin is looking a little bit off because I'm moving around and there's tons of plant lights, which is not ideal, but we'll work with it. So with the number 7, I've got, you can't see it, so this is going to be the north, and this room divider is kind of capturing the energy of the north for me, which doesn't work for me based on my year of birth. And so I've got a salt cure, you can't see it, but I've got a salt cure over there. And when I close this, it becomes, it's almost like there's a little room behind there. It's about 2 feet wide. You guys can't see it. About 2 feet deep, sorry, 2 feet deep, and about almost 9 feet wide. So with that capturing the north energy, the rest of this room now becomes northeast, which in 2025 is also not ideal. So I have my dining room on that side. I've been working off of my dining room table as much as possible. And I only use my desktop here when I'm doing my Zoom calls, when I'm doing my training. So I am really reducing the usage of my office as much as possible. Again, it's not ideal. I much rather to be working off of my iMac, but really in the rest of the house here, I don't have anywhere where I can place an iMac for the whole year, right? So the iMac stays here. Sorry, not the iMac, it's just my desktop. I used to have an iMac, not anymore. And I'll just take my MacBook and work off of the dining room table, which is the room right next door of my workstation. As you guys probably have heard, I really love L-shaped desks. So that's an L-shaped desk. And this is actually, what do you call that? You can bring the desk up and down as well. I used to have a walking pad under here, but again, because I'm using this room a little bit less this year, I took the walking pad and I put it in the master bedroom. So I do have more plants. I do have more plants here, another plant rack here, and this plant rack remained the same. Again, having all these plant lights on in the Northeast this year, Northeast having the number 5, is not ideal, but again, I can't move my plants. My husband will divorce me if I move my plants and set up light fixtures everywhere for the plants. So what I've done is, again, you guys can't see, but I have behind there, I have a sock here, and you guys can. So the beauty about the sock here is you can hide it. You just got to make sure that there's air circulation, right? Let me actually quickly turn the camera around so you can see the other sock here. So okay, so I bloomed this gorgeous beauty here. Isn't she gorgeous? Anyway, just peeking behind there is my sock here, and actually the crystallization is actually not so bad considering. I do see some crystallizations. My camera can't get into it really. I do see some crystallization, but not as bad. And as much as I have tons of light, I also try to, I have a lot of plants too. And plants being wood destroys earth, don't they? And again, in Flying Star, we actually try not to get into the destruction cycle as much as we can. I'm just giving you guys, as I'm talking, I'm just giving you guys a look of all the other orchids that I bloomed. As much as we try to not use the destructive cycle, again, in my head, it's because this is the number 5, and I've got all this light here, which is turned on 12 hours a day. Having the destructive element might not be such a bad idea. And the fact that my sock here is not crystallized so much, I think, is a testament to it working. Now, you're gonna see, let me show you my workspace a little bit more. So the reason why I love L-shaped design is during the year, so right now I am facing east, and east has the annual 9, which also works really well for me. So right now I am putting the my computer monitor to be facing east, and then for my permanent energy, actually Northeast is my money, my strongest money energy based on my period I'm facing. However, because this year has Northeast, I'm not sitting. I am not allowing myself to sit face Northeast. And I am not facing north. I'm also not going to be facing north. You see my Chi Life planner right there. I'm also not facing north this year because this year in 2025, there's the Flying Star number 7, which is robbery, office politics, issues with reputation, losing clients, losing money, and all sorts of things that you need to be really careful with number 7. So when I do my Zoom calls, I am sitting here facing east this year. All right, so this is my space now, aligned with the 2025 Flying Star energy, supporting as best as possible my focus, creativity, and flow. But like I said before, Feng Shui isn't a copy-paste formula. It's about understanding the energy around you and making intentional shifts that support your goal, your life, and your unique space. If this has got you thinking about your own space, drop a comment below. What's one area in your home or office that you feel needs an energetic shift? I'd love to hear what you're working on. And if you want more insights on Feng Shui, energy alignment, and how to set yourself up for success in 2025 and beyond, be sure to subscribe because I'll be sharing more soon. or better yet, join me in Feng Shui 2025, which is my annual Feng Shui training. Until next time,